Well, hey, good evening, gardening friends. Down in the grow room, this is going to be kind of a short stream tonight, but just checking on things and continue to be surprised by the seedlings and stuff. In particular, some of these pots where I've started seeds or sowed seeds that are a couple years old and kind of had written off. Didn't think that they were any good because I didn't see any sprouts right away. Hey Ron, what's up, man? So just down checking out the seedlings here. I'll show you this real quick. It's kind of neat. So we had a few of these coming up yesterday. It looks like even more have come up, and they look really good. This is Dester, so I'm really happy about that because I was hoping to get a full tray. That's one of my favorite tomatoes. Hi Frank, what's up, man? Yeah, this is looking awesome. And then the Dallas Wilson Cubans, the ones that I did maybe 4 years ago, I planted some more seeds in here in this batch. So far I've got one that's come up, but I'm expecting more. If this pot's any indication. So these are the tomatoes I've entered into Mrs. Green's tomato growing competition. And initially I had maybe 2 or 3 that had come up, but you can see now there's double that, triple that that's come up since then. And kind of in various stages there, but they all look promising. So I'm going to kind of let that run maybe one more day, and then I'll transplant these to larger pots, so it doesn't become a limiting factor for them. I don't want them to get root bound or anything like that. But even the peppers, kind of same deal. I've got some these have been potted up for a really long time, probably 2 weeks, and I've still got seeds that are starting to sprout that were dormant. And so I'm kind of wondering, maybe part of the delay this year in stuff sprouting is the fact that I'm using older older seeds compared to prior years where I've saved stuff from the prior year and basically just bringing out the batch that I just set aside last year, as opposed to these seeds that are 2, 3, 4 years old, that maybe are a little more dormant and I don't know, I guess more resistant to sprouting, if that makes sense. A lot slower to sprout than what the ones that are maybe fresher seeds. Like maybe the seed coat on these is harder or thicker or something. I don't know. What do you think about that, Ron? You got any thoughts on that? You had any experience with that where it seems like maybe seeds that you put back that are older take a little bit longer to sprout, like maybe up to a week longer? Because that's kind of what I'm seeing here, if I'm, everything else being equal. Which I find is kind of interesting. It's kind of a mental note, need to remember that next year. if I end up going to the seed bank again, whatever. Be mindful of that and give these a little bit more time before, completely writing them off and dumping the pot out, right? It's kind of what I'm seeing anyway. Other than that, I sent Frank a bunch of pictures. Been corresponding here of the garden and stuff. We went out to the greenhouse. I've been pretty good since we got the plants out there, especially the tomatoes. I'm trying to get out there every night to check on things and just make sure everything's well watered and still heading in the right direction. And so far, so good. I haven't lost anything yet, which has been a good thing. Garden is still just really wet. It's probably because there's in some places up to a foot of leaf mold, leaf mulch that's still on the garden. Because this year I did things different. We got 2 truckloads from the township, 2 dump truckloads of leaves, and spread them like at least a foot deep, and a lot of them just haven't broken down. So what we ended up doing the other night was peeling back, trying to peel that off the rows to kind of expose the rows a little bit to dry things out a little bit ahead of this weekend. And going to try to plant into it potentially this weekend, and then use the leaf mulch, leaf mold, kind of put it around the plants to keep things weed free or relatively weed free. Still having a lot of trouble with the Canadian thistle, even though Dad drilled all of it out with this power auger he got for his birthday. There were pieces of the roots that were still left, or maybe he didn't get it completely out, and it's rooted down again into the leaf mulch on the north end of the garden. So we're going to have to deal with that again, keep chipping away at it, try to get the rhizomes out of the soil, because until we do that, I think it's going to continue to come back and be a little bit of a problem for us. So yeah, if you can, man, that's the way to do it, because the greenhouse during the day when the sun's out especially, it hits temps of 100 degrees or more, and that's with like the side window louver open and the window louver in the top open. It's still spiking some pretty good temperatures, and my dad's been moving the greens out when that happens, so that they're not stressed or anything like that. But it's been real good for the tomatoes and peppers. You saw the photos of the peppers. They're looking pretty good, starting to put on some additional growth, so pretty excited about that. Also mixed up a batch I had we mixed it up last night, was that constant feed. My dad came by today and picked it up. Yeah, I'm excited, man. But he gave my sister a little bit of the constant feed, and we'll see if her sunflowers will pull out of the funk that they're in right now. Hopefully they will. Other thing I got a package in the mail today. A while back I ordered, actually this past weekend, it was the food vac bag. So I got a food saver for my birthday last year, and we had a lot of fun with that, putting the onions up and just other things. We've done meat with it. We did fruit, some berries and stuff we got from the berry farm. Anyway, the bags are really expensive. If you get the Food Saver name brand bags, you don't get a whole lot, and they're just kind of pricey. So just kind of doing some research. There's a company that sells just Grovac bags or something, and they sell their own version of like a Food Saver, like different products and stuff. But they, I guess, got pretty good reviews. It's got like textured bags. They're pretty nice. Anyway, they came in the mail today. They only paid about 30-40 bucks, and I got two. They're like 8-inch wide, 50-foot rolls. Two rolls that are do like quart-sized bags, and then I got two rolls that are like 6-inch wide by 50-foot long that I do pint-sized bags. So 200 feet of the vac bags that you basically cut to length. You seal the end to start with, and then you start measuring off, and you can trim and cut and all that. It's one little extra step, but they're a lot cheaper, and you can make the bags like whatever size you need, depending on what you're putting up. Yeah, it's worked out pretty good. At least the Food Saver, because I had a couple rolls of the Food Saver bags, and that's what we did. It worked out pretty good. So I thought it was a pretty good deal. Yeah, this is pretty reasonable. I mean, I'll probably not have to get bags for a really long time unless we go crazy, like putting stuff up. But thinking about the vacuum seal bags, particularly the pint-sized ones, I was thinking about seed saving this next go-around. And that once I pack the seeds away, that's one step I could do is vacuum pack them. In that, there's debate on like, well, does that harm them? Getting a lot of the air out. Don't the seeds still need to respirate, and you're gonna basically kill the seeds by doing that. Stuff I read so far indicates no, that's not true. That basically the seeds are effectively dormant. There is like a real minuscule respiration rate, but if you're storing them in cool temperatures and like dark place and all that, you basically slow that down to a crawl where there's no noticeable difference in germination rates between seeds that are vacuum packed and those that aren't. At least the initial read on that. I'm gonna do some more reading though before I do that. Last thing I want to do is vacuum seal everything and then end up killing everything as a result. But initial read says no, that there's really no noticeable difference. And yeah, I got some. And I guess you saw some of them, but Seed Saver, seedsavers.org or whatever. I got the paper envelopes with the kind of the sticky, like Elmer's glue stick, resealable thing. They've worked out pretty good over the years. And then there's part of me like, well, do I really need to bother vacuum sealing? I mean, if I'm going to be using the seeds the very next year, and as long as I'm storing them in a cool temp or whatnot, it's really like, if there's really no difference, like, unless I'm going to be, anticipate having to store them a lot longer, there isn't really a need for me to vacuum pack them. So why even do that? Is a thought, other than just to protect them from getting wet, potentially. So I'm gonna give that some thought and see. So, but anyway, I think tomorrow I'm gonna try to dig these seedlings out. I could probably do it tonight, but I got some other stuff But dig these out and pot them up. So there's what, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. There's 12 I can see right now in this pot. 13. So that's a fair amount. And then there's probably about 25, 30 in this pot. Hey, Tom. Hey, we drove past your house tonight. We were out, I was out with my wife, and we ended up going to Steak and Shake, got drive-through dinner, and then went out south end of town. There's a house she saw on Sunset Drive or something. It's like it's up for sale. It's between two churches, which was kind of weird. There's a Lutheran church and I think it's a Methodist church, or no, it's a Baptist church and I think it's a Methodist church. Anyway, it's pretty close to where you live. Like literally, could probably walk to your house from there. It'd be a little bit of a walk, but anyway, what was kind of neat about it is it's 3-bedroom, 2-bath, and it's on over an acre lot. And we were looking at it because it's got a fenced-in backyard that is definitely not an acre. It's, whatever. So what we're thinking, I guess it extends back all the way to the tree line, is what we were thinking. I don't know. We'd have to look at like a city plat map and see. And it must have been something that had been renovated recently, because I think, yeah. It sold back in like 2017 for like $39,000, and they're like wanting $124,000 for it or something crazy. And it looks like they did windows, maybe they did some painting, maybe redid some of the systems or whatnot, but maybe a little bit overpriced for what else is around there. But it was kind of a consideration, like, could definitely do something on an acre. Yeah, I think what I saw is like 100, 111 in that area is what selling price was and whatnot. But yeah, it didn't look like a bad area. It looked like, honest working, folks, stuff like that. And so we've been talking it over, kind of thinking through like what we may end up doing. The only downside would be that it'd be a lot further away from the garden from where we're at now. Right now it's like a 7-minute drive to get over to my dad's house, which isn't bad. That's manageable. I think on that end of town it's be like 20, 25 minutes. Shoot. That's hilarious. Too funny. So I don't know, we'll see. Yeah, that's the thing, is like we could do some fruit trees. I could get garden in. Heck, I could put a greenhouse in over there. There's all kinds of stuff I could do over there. Oh, shoot. Yeah, maybe the water would be better over there too, more consistent. than what we got out of Dad's house right now. So, which that's the next thing I'm gonna be looking at, irrigation system. You know, maybe trying to set something up, maybe a trial mitt lighter watering thing on two of the beds or something, just to see how that would work and if it would make it any easier. Like, still have the option to do the weeper hoses. We did weeper hoses one year in a tomato patch, and they worked out okay. Um, yeah, they actually worked out fine. Yeah. So there's options for sure. Um, so anyway, that might be a video series down the road as we get that going. My dad dropped off the that drill press that he gave me, the Delta one. I got the manual, so I'll be able to see if there's any parts I need to get for that. I think it's all working, but I think it'd be kind of cool to do a mitt lighter line and see what happens with that. Like in that the PVC, do something with PVC and see how that goes. So, anywho, just want to get on tonight. We'd started on just talking about how the seeds, it seemed like my older ones were a lot slower to germinate than seeds that I'd saved recently. Yeah, well, I was thinking if I did set something up like it worked, like we'd set up zones where maybe he's only doing a couple beds at one time, or set them up to where they each have a valve where the water's on and could go along and turn on valves, like two valves at a time or something, let them water for 30 seconds or whatever's prescribed, and then turn them off and then go down to the next set and turn them on, let them water, so on and so forth would be the way to go, potentially with the water issues he's got out there, as far as not wanting to drudge up a bunch of sediment into his well like he did the first year. And so we need to give that some thought and see what we're gonna do. Though if it's a rainy season, maybe I'm not gonna need to worry about it. Yeah. We may come to that. In fact, I was thinking about maybe building one of the beds into a mitt lighter grow box so I can do like carrots, because that's one thing I haven't been able to do a whole lot because the soil has just got a lot of clay in it. I haven't had a lot of success with carrots. But if I had like a grow box where everything was real loose, we could do that and it would, I think, work out pretty good. So, well, I was going to try to keep this one brief because I got to get, yeah, weeds do compete kind of. I mean, I've been able to get some carrots, but it's only because like we've done a pretty big bed, and I just kind of, we had a lot of stuff that we sowed, I guess. Yeah, we do have I did, Dad's got this homemade torch basically, and it worked out okay, but it seemed like we had to put, um, we were torching a Canadian thistle, trying it out on that, seeing if we could kill it going that route, and we were burning it. Set the leaf mulch on fire too. In the process, we had leaves burning. Fortunately, it's kind of damp, so they didn't burn very long. They kind of went out on their own. But yeah, I have to figure something out. Yeah, that does work. I know first thing is when we're canning out on the back deck, and we're done. I took the boiling water like that was in the canner and dumped it out in the yard, and I had a big brown patch where it totally fried the grass in that area. And then there's also you can get this vinegar solution that's a lot higher concentration than what you would get at the grocery store. Um, that's pretty effective weed killer as well. So definitely there's some options for sure. It well, as far as the water, rain diluting the feed, yeah. If it's too wet, like with the cucumbers, that one year when we had all that torrential rain, initially it was good for everything, but then it was just too damp, and um, we had some stuff that didn't work so well. But well, I would stay on here longer to chat with you guys. I get the kids going and get my dog put up and all that good stuff, and we'll try to get back on here another night this week, maybe even tomorrow night, and continue the conversation. Yeah, it's true. I was looking at the pictures of that greenhouse you guys are building. I was looking at the soil, the dirt, and it was like, man. Yeah, maybe I'll have to jump on your stream, Tom. Maybe Frank and I will come over there. That could be kind of fun. Yeah, we'll have to figure something out, a collaboration for sure. That could be fun. All right, well, hey man, I'll catch you guys later, and maybe we'll be over on Tom's tomorrow. Maybe we'll be over his place for a while, and then maybe we'll jump back over here. We'll see how things go. We'll see you guys later.